Hello, everybody. This is Brian Klein. I've got Benaiah with me this morning, and we are getting together and talking a little bit about how we do life together, and that in life group or in community, we are better together than we ever are doing it solo or doing it alone. And I've got Benaiah here. I'm going to let him introduce himself. A little bit of it's good to have you here, brother. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Benaiah, your age, and you know what are some hobbies? What are some things you like to do?
Mm-hmm. I'm Benaiah Bauer. I'm 13. I go to men's group, obviously. um, I, like most 13-year-olds, like to do gaming and watch YouTube, but I also like to do basketball, play tennis. I enjoy reading a lot. Um, I enjoy spending time with people.
Hmm.
That's a fun thing for me, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Benaiah, you had come to started coming with your dad last year to Men's Forge Wednesday morning, 6 a.m.
Yeah.
6 a.m. on your birthday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your birthday, you were turning 13. You decided you wanted to come to Forge with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about that. Was that something your dad, uh, said, hey, you need to come now, you're 13, come with me to this? Or how did that all happen?
So when I was 12, probably somewhere in October, he told me about men's group and he'd enjoy that if I came when I turned 13. So I decided I'd give it a try. So when I turned 13 on my birthday, I woke up at like 5 a.m. and got ready. And then I went to Forge, had some breakfast. They have really good breakfasts. Um, then once I started coming, I realized that this is a really good way for me to spend more time with Christ and learn more about Him. So I started coming every Wednesday. Then,
So let me ask you, Benaiah, how was that coming? You're turning 13. You walk in, it's a room full of older men. Some men probably 3-4 times as old as you,
mm,
right? And so were you intimidated? Were you a little nervous? I know you had your dad with you, so he was going to be your protector. But tell me a little bit about what that was like.
so it was definitely intimidating the first couple of times I came because I'm the only 13-year-old there
Yeah.
and the youngest person by probably at least 10 years.
Right.
But after I go for like 3 or 4 weeks, it starts getting less intimidating and I start to get to know my table mates better. And my dad obviously helped me not be intimidated as much, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, I enjoyed coming. Then I kept on coming and I learned more about my table mates, which was pretty neat. After a little bit, you start developing a pretty personal relationship with your table mates, which is pretty good for me, I guess, because I get to learn more about older men and how they've made past mistakes and how I can learn from them the easy way better than the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about the flow of the morning. How that goes for someone that's not aware of what Forge and is available for men and young men like you. So just share a little bit about how you see the flow of the morning go and helping someone know that, yeah, we'd love to have you be a part of this.
Right. So I wake up, get ready. Obviously, I'm tired, but after I'm ready, me and my dad go. And once we get here, we go in and grab breakfast, and we chat for a little bit with some other people.
So what's your favorite breakfast you've had so far?
I really like their pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
Pancakes and sausage. They
Yeah.
have great pancakes.
Yeah, they're great. The breakfasts are awesome.
They really are.
They're nothing to they're it's not fluff. It's a man's breakfast. So yeah, go ahead.
So after you've had your breakfast, you throw your stuff in the trash, obviously, but then Brian goes up and he starts us off with prayer usually. Then after that, he tries at least every Wednesday to have a man or someone to come up on stage and share his testimony, which is pretty neat to me. The longer you listen, the less you get tired, so you get more engaged. So after the testimony, he comes up and we all have papers and pens that we write the information that he shares down. So when we go home, we can remember and use what he taught that day for the rest of the week or years or the rest of your life even.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. And he teaches in a way that is not only open to older men, but also is understandable to younger people like me too. So I enjoy that.
And then after the teaching time's done, then there's a
group time where or table time, I guess, where you have like 10 minutes to talk with your table, or you can spend longer than that if you want. Then after you talk to your table about what Pastor Brian said and about how that affects us in our lives, and there's questions on the back of the papers that you ask and answer. And after that, you put the tables away. But I guess before that, we end off in prayer at our table, at least.
Yeah.
And then we fold up our table and put it away.
All right. That's awesome. So, Benaya, you say you do a lot of gaming stuff, and in conversation that you and I had prior to this, you talked about that there's you have a lot of friends through gaming, internet gaming, contacts, stuff like that. But you mentioned I don't know what you want to call it, a social media, an app called Discord. Okay, that you discovered, and you build up, a relationship with some guys on there. And we talked a little bit about that. So could you share a little bit about how, young men like you, I don't do a lot of those kind of things, so it doesn't really click for me, but it seems to click for your generation to build relationships through social media apps, things like that. How did that happen for you? And share a little bit about how that works, but how sometimes, what's the difference between that and being in a personal relationship or in a group relationship personally, because a lot of young people, young men like you could probably say, well, I got a group of guys that I chat with online about the things of God and all that kind of stuff, and that I don't need to get in a personal group piece. So let's talk about that a little bit.
So Discord is pretty much a social media app. It's like texting, but I guess a little bit better. You can have it on your phone or computer, or really any other type of console. So you get on, and usually you start off with one server or a couple servers that you find by chance. That's how I started, at least. Then I met a couple friends on there, and that was like 3 years ago. So I started developing a better relationship with them. And as I said, it's like texting but better. You can type to people in chat like you can in texting. You can call them, audio call. You can video call them like FaceTime. You can also screen share and share what you have on your screen. Then there are things called Discord servers, which have people that like something specifically, or you can have a server with all your friends or something like that.
Right.
So I started off with a Jerome ASF server, which was one of my favorite YouTubers at that time, and that's where I met my friends. But if you search up servers, you can search up Minecraft Discord server, and you can find that, join that server, and then you get to talk with a bunch of people that like Minecraft or enjoy it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. That's good. So you through Minecraft or just being on Discord, you start finding interest areas that others are interested in. You start building a relationship because you have that common denominator of that game or interest area. So how do you see that correlate with, all I'm familiar with is being able to just get together with a group of guys in person. Okay. Right. So share with me from your perspective that how that works in comparison between the two.
So in my general opinion, I guess, I like spending time with real people outside of online. I enjoy talking to people online, but I enjoy spending time with people, I guess, in real life. And the better thing about that is you can have physical contact with them. You can hug them. You can put your arm around their shoulder. You can give them a fist bump, a high five. You can play games with them. You can play basketball, tennis, and you can see their emotions, which on Discord.
So emoji emotions just don't quite do it. Does it? Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Because you can see on their face, like the example you gave a while ago, you can see their facial expression. So if they're starting to cry or starting to tear up, then you know that this is deep and emotional to them. And you can comfort them, but you can't necessarily comfort them or give them a hug online.
Right.
And sometimes you can't even tell if they're crying or
not. Yeah. So it's not like social media is not a way to build relationships. I mean, there's community that can happen there, and then there's the personal getting together personally. Almost creates a deeper kind of community, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Benaya, I'm every Wednesday morning, I'm just thinking, when's Benaya going to not be showing up? Because, what 13-year-old gets up at 5 in the morning to hang out with us at breakfast time. And, but your dad's not dragging you.
Nope.
You're up, you're ready to go. He's not getting you out of bed. So, tell us, what could you share with us or to our listeners here on, why getting, working through the intimidation factor that you felt when you first came, that it's really worth the effort.
Right. So, as I said, the first couple of weeks are pretty intimidating, but if you work through it, you can develop so much of a better relationship with people and with your table mates specifically, because you get to hear about their life stories. You can learn from their mistakes instead of you making them on your own. Then you can develop a personal relationship with them. You can get to know them better, and that's definitely worth it for me, because I get to spend time with older people that I can learn from. I get to listen to what their problems were, and I get to talk to them. I get to tell them my problems, and they give me advice on how to handle those.
Yeah, so you feel comfortable sharing maybe a personal struggle while your dad's sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay. While your dad's sitting there, but you feel comfortable being able to share with a group of men some challenges you're going through.
Mhm.
Is that ever intimidating to you? Was that ever difficult?
So yeah, you get pretty nervous when you have to share stuff like that. And you don't even have to. It's just in your heart you know you should.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get it out, it's like you're letting go of something heavy. You feel much better. You feel like you've released something that's had a burden on you.
Yeah.
And once you do that, they can help you through that, and they can give you advice, as I said, and it just makes you feel better.
Yeah. So we have an agreement at Forge.
What stays in Forge,
What,
what's said in Forge stays in Forge.
right, right. And we try to make that as safe of a place as possible where men can be real with other men and allow each other to speak into each other's lives. Iron sharpens iron, right? As one man sharpens another. So Benaiah, share with us maybe one or two moments that where Forge has really impacted you or your table. You call them table mates. It's really our table groups are the same groups every Wednesday, right? We call them life groups, men's life groups.
Right.
So and you build relationship. You stay consistent there, and you build that relationship. But share with me, with our listeners here, a little bit about how maybe maybe some things that you would feel comfortable sharing about how it's impacted your life and how others have impacted your life.
Right. So there have been many forges that impact me, and there have been a couple that don't, which is fine. But the ones that matter are the ones that do impact you, and ones that that make you realize how good God is and how He can do anything. The one that got me baptized is in Acts. It was Peter, right?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Peter saw a man who couldn't walk, so paralyzed on the legs, and he told him to get up and walk. So that made me realize that God can do absolutely anything. He can work through not only just Jesus, who's pure in every way, but through Peter, who's impure. But he worked through him, and not only did he allow this man to walk and unparalyze him, I guess, he taught him how to walk completely in that exact same time. Because this is a man who never knew how to walk before. He's like a baby. He'd be crawling around, starting to get used to his legs, but he instead jumped up and walked around.
Right.
He knew exactly what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did that scene in the book of Acts, how did God use that to encourage you to take that step of baptism?
Right. So as I said, it made me realize that God can do anything. So if He can do anything and heal a paralyzed man who can't walk, I realized that He can help me through the struggles that I'm going through, and He can help me in my heart. And that made me realize that God can just let me share all of my personal information, all of my struggles with Him, and He'd help.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember that day you were baptized. It was awesome moment, Benaiah. Well, Benaiah, man, it has been a delight to have you as our youngest member of our Forge guys. And, I always have to remind myself that Benaiah is just 13, because he's probably just as tall as all the other guys that are showing up there. And so I'm going to let you kind of wrap this up by laying out, a way that you would want to encourage, maybe getting more 13, 14-year olds, maybe some college guys that are looking for mentoring through older men. Maybe speak to them. Wrap this up by sharing a challenge to them of inviting them to Forge, to a life groups and Forge with a group of men.
All right, so I guess I'll tell you guys, I want you to come. I want you to come for at least 1 week to see how it's like, see how mentoring can help you. But you know what? I don't want you to come for 1 week. I want you to come for at least 4, because that's as many times as it took me to get through my shakes and shivers and start developing a relationship with people that I know. So I challenge you guys to come for at least 4 weeks, so 4 times. And the older men here can help you in a lot more ways than you can think. You always think, oh, they're older guys, they don't know what I'm going through, when they've gone through the exact same thing and more. So they can help you in your future, and they can help you now.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty cool thing for me to learn from. And as I said, I encourage you guys to come for at least 4 weeks. That's my challenge to all of the college students, all the younger people, all the people in middle school and high school. And not only them, I encourage everyone else who's listening to this to come, if you aren't coming already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Benaiah. We've been talking, our theme this year has been what?
Trailblazing.
And basically we're talking about the men. A stalwart walks in step with God. His path is blazed by God. So we're talking about how God has a path blazed for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have taken the step as a young man, 13 years old, to say, I'm going to hang out and not only learn how to walk in step with God, but I'm going to learn from other men of how to do that as well. And you keep your heart open like that, brother. You keep your heart teachable like that. It will spare you. You'll be blessed. God's favor will be upon you. Not that you won't have challenges, right? Mm-hmm. They'll happen. But brother, it's been good to have you attending Forge with us. We pray that we can get more 13 and older young men and older men to join us at Forge and hang out with us on Wednesday mornings. We also have our Monday night groups and some other groups and stuff. So thanks for taking some time, sharing that life is better together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We could do it online.
Or you can do it in real life.
In real life. And we would love to have you come and do it in real life. There's just something deeper with that. Is that right, brother?
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, brother. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.